So I was trying to think about what would be helpful for potential users of this, and I looked back to my experience with my own team. So on the team at Joyful Therapy Group, we have a virtual practice. We're located in Los Angeles. We have about 13 therapists, and I'm very, when ChatGPT first came out, I was all over it, right? And my husband too. And so we're sort of a AI interested, forward-looking family. And so I was looking for products to make all areas of my life easier. And when I came across, what Alexander created, I thought, well, this is either too good to be true, and in some ways it's magic. So I'm going to talk about my process for bringing it into the practice and some pros that I've experienced of using it, and then some things that I think could be interesting to look forward to in the future if things decide to go that way. But so the process for bringing it into the practice was I tried it myself. And it's so easy to use. It's very, very user friendly. I like that everything was on one screen, and it sort of like guided you through the process. And full disclosure, I have, since Yung Sidekick, tried other AI note-taking platforms because I want to use the best note-taking platform out there. And there are a couple ones. And I'm not just saying this because I'm on this webinar. I actually really, really do prefer, and my therapists do too, Yung Sidekick's platform. And there's a couple of reasons for this, which if anyone has questions about, I'm happy to answer. But what I noticed integrating it into my practice was that there was some hesitancy. There were some questions around, is this HIPAA compliant? And will it affect my clients' disclosures if they know they're being recorded? And what if it misses? What if the AI doesn't capture the essence of what I might observe as a clinician? What if it misses tone or isn't able to do a thematic analysis of what's actually something that I would think is important? And so there were I experienced in my practice a lot of resistance to trying it. Even though it was free, even though, it was so easy, I noticed a lot of resistance, and I had to jump on a Zoom and show people how to use it, right? And I was like, look at this is magic, right? Then they did one session, and now I get text message saying, I'm never taking another note again. Okay, this has changed my life. I love it. And so I really would encourage and invite people to try it, at least, even if there is some resistance or hesitancy or concerns. And if you have questions about that, I'm happy to answer them. So here's what I experienced. It makes life so much more efficient, and time management. It's a game changer when it comes to time management. I also have noticed there's a lot of accuracy with the recall. It's able to capture details that I might have missed or forgotten in a note. And it's, in my experience, extremely comprehensive. It really, I don't know if listens is the right word, but it really listens to what is happening in the session, and without bias captures the essence of what happens in that session. I like its insights. I like where it has suggestions for, follow-up pathways. I think I'm curious about what it'll come up with just as a clinician to compare to what I might think. But also I've just gained an appreciation for its intelligence around how it's able to spit out this information, this insights. It also makes my life a lot more organized. If I forget to copy and paste a note into the system, it has a timestamp, it has a date, it almost looks like a client chart, the way that it's structured. And so I really like its ease of use. In fact, just today, I was like, oh, shoot, I forgot to transfer a client's note from last week. And I could go in there, review the note really quickly, and then transfer it over. And so I think it makes me a better therapist because I use my notes to review what happened in previous weeks and also to track progress. And because this does a really good job of capturing details, I think that it enhances my ability to recall and follow up on certain details. I also really like that it happens real time and that it does a good job with mood and tone. Um, it is able to capture the essence of what's happening in there. I'm trying to think of what else. I like the supervision piece where it talks about, did any interventions elicit resistance from the client? And in fact, what I've done is, because we have eight associates in addition to our therapists on the team, not that associates aren't therapists, but licensed therapists and associate therapists. I've used the reports as a way to show what a high quality note includes. And I've even pulled up session notes to be able to further analyze what's happening in supervision and whether or not interventions worked well or didn't work well. And if a therapist is getting a lot of interventions that elicit resistance, we talk about how to manage resistance and what's happening there, and the framework or the modality. And so I've used it to also enhance my abilities as a supervisor. And the other thing that I think is interesting that I've done, and I'm still experimenting with it, is on my website, I'm always looking for ways to optimize my SEO. And so I've started looking at the keywords that appear most often in my sessions. And I'm like, oh, this is great SEO, right? And so I've started to use that because there are words that I did not think about for SEO, and yet they're appearing over and over and over again in my sessions. And so I'm like, well, if people are talking about this, maybe they're also Googling it. So maybe I'll appear in some higher places on Google. And so I've sort of gotten a little bit creative with how I've integrated it. And there's lots of other ways I've integrated too, which I'm happy to speak about. So there are some, privacy concerns. I'm going to shift gears into some cons. There are some things that potentially, I guess, something could be hacked, but I'll leave it to Alexander to discuss those things. And could be some accuracy issues of like the internet cuts out or whatever, or there's like a recording that stops. But honestly, those things have not and should not deter anyone from using this, because I think the benefits really outweigh those potential glitches or risks that could happen. I am a fan. I'm a raving lunatic fan when it comes to Yung Sidekick. So I'm going to stop here because I don't want to hog the whole thing, and I want to hear, what Tommy's experienced too, and I'm sure everybody else does too. So that's me.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Moreen. If you allow, I'll just pick a few questions from the poll. And the first one is, okay, so have you noticed like any improvements or any changes to in terms of time management within your group practice? Since like few therapists been using Yung Sidekick, what changed in terms of like time management and related?
Yeah, so definitely notice changes in time management. Also, so sessions getting done the same day. I mean, session notes getting done the same day. Also, higher quality notes for like utilization reviews and insurance reports. And also the consistency of the themes and the style that the note is written in is also very helpful. And so all of those things have improved. And we have a dashboard that allows us to see how many missing notes there are at any given time. And since implementing Yung Sidekick, I have had 0 missing notes. And for anyone who is not using Yung Sidekick and needs notes to be completed for, ethical, legal reasons, but also if you're using it for insurance purposes, that it's sort of a pain in the neck to have to hound therapists to say, hey, can you please complete your note? Can you please get on it? This not only entices people to do their notes, but there's this ease of use, which just makes it like a no-brainer to just do the note, because all you have to do is copy paste. Obviously you have to read it to make sure that it's captured what you need it to capture, and then copy paste. And so it saves time, saves energy, and it's just a higher quality report, I would say. I hope I answered the question.